What's the matter? One balloon, not enough. Try a bitch!
Behold my entry for July's drone challenge in Besiege. I call it Dr. 1. The main advantage to a drone is that, because it's remote controlled, if it gets shot down, the pilot can bring in more machinery and keep fighting. With 9 deployable drones and a well-equipped ground vehicle to carry them, that's what my machine offers. The key to this design is that each drone can be controlled with only 2 buttons, so separate controls can be mapped for a lot of them. In fact, another row of 3 could be readily key mapped, but I stopped at 9 drones so I could stay within the 100 block limit for the challenge. Each drone is identical to the 5-block machine I built earlier called World on a String, which I used to beat all 25 current zones. In addition to the drones, I put a lot of consideration into the design of the chassis. I used only parts that are immune to fire and the enemy's weapons, so a lot of the threats in this game can be safely ignored. For example, the farmers in this zone can't hurt the machine with their scythes, and if I set the crops on fire, the flames can't burn it either. I also added what I believe to be the most useful weapons and tools. For this particular zone, in which the player has to mow down 90% of the crops, the saw in the back helps to save time. I edited the machine's BSG file in Notepad for extra speed, primarily for backing out of the archer's range. That's also why I set the machine at the back of the bounding box. On occasion, an arrow will hit one of the lower parts of the machine while it's backing away from the archers, but an arrow will only do damage if it hits a bomb, a balloon, or a flying spiral. After dozens of trials, I've never had an arrow hit that high on the machine, so I don't think it can happen. Or at the very least, it's highly unlikely. I included this grabber arm to make it easier to transport items. The flamethrower is low enough to reach the sheep, but it doesn't interfere with climbing. I included 2 cannons, mostly to detonate mines that are conveniently placed near enemies. I also edited the BSG file to include a starting block in each drone and the ground vehicle, so any of the 10 total vehicles can be used to activate checkpoints. By using 3 of the flying spirals on the drones, it's possible to survive this fall with little or no damage. You can survive this more dramatic fall by using 6 flying spirals. Even if you do finger gymnastics to hold down more of the buttons, the game only lets you use 6 anyway, but luckily that's enough. Sometimes when you land, you'll break a brace or lose a couple balloons, but you can consistently land in good condition. It would be faster to beat this zone simply by deploying 1 drone right away and letting the rest drop, but if they ever make a much harder version of this zone, you can survive the fall with plenty of artillery intact. I'd like to end this video with some additional notes for if you want to download the machine. Notice how the drones wobble when the machine is first set down. If you launch a drone at full speed while the drones are wobbling, there's a chance of its bomb detonating against another drone. This doesn't seem to happen after the drones settle out, but it's still best to tap the flying spiral control on the drone you plan to use until you're clear of the machine, just in case. To deploy a drone, middle-click its bomb to focus the camera on it, and release the grabber holding the drone. As the drone spins, you can control it by using the flying spiral when it's facing the direction you want to go. When the bomb detonates, the camera conveniently reverts back to the center of mass, making it easy to select the next drone. Once all the drones are off the chassis, you can safely detonate a bomb with the end of the flamethrower. If you hit the bomb anywhere else, though, there's a good chance you'll flip and be unable to move. And if you go minesweeping while you're still carrying bombs. That didn't do my machine any favors, but it was fun. This flying spiral got to burn in the explosion and freeze in the upper atmosphere. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about Dr. 1. Links to download it, and the link to the drone challenge will be in the description. Please post any questions or comments, and don't forget to vote for my machine if you think it deserves to win the contest.